Hello lads, welcome back to a new video. This week I want to keep working on the inventory system. So today what I've got done was I was able to get a display of all the items in your inventory. So if we press play, it will load the items into the inventory array, and then it will generate 6 rows of items. And right now, as you can see, it just has the default inventory. So I made an empty item for each category of clothing, and I will fill up the inventory quickly just so you can see what it looks like when it actually has items. Okay, so I've added a bunch of items and I saved it to the game file. So when I start up the game, it should collect all the items, and as you can see, it'll categorize the items correctly based on what kind of clothing type they are. And so the idea is there'll be like a selection box starting right here, and then say if you move left and right, it'll go down this list, and the list will be cut off by a mask here so it won't like overflow over top of this model, but it'll go left and right along this. And then if you go up and down, it'll switch between the categories. And so hopefully I can make it so when you hover over a certain item and you select it, that it'll change it out for the old item. I have a bunch of placeholder art here. These are just for, I just quickly whipped these up. My plan is to have some 3D renders, small 3D renders of the actual items, so then you can actually like see what they'll look like before you equip them. And then obviously this will be like a preview, so even if you like hover over an item, it'll show it here, even if you don't select it. And then once you select it and you go out of the menu, then it will show up on your player, hopefully. Hello again, gamers. This Tuesday I got a lot done on the clothing selection menu. So you can see everything is listed here, and I've got a navigation marker over the first item, which is the empty hat item. And you can see if I click on the actual game, going up and down will move the navigation thing between categories, and then moving it left and right will change the item, and it will show up on the preview as well. And it's working very smoothly, and I'm happy that it turned out so well in my first attempt. The coding might be pretty janky, I don't even know. It was my first time coding something like this, so I don't know if there's a better way it could have been done, but it works and I'm happy with it, so there's that. There's a few other things I need to do before my prototype version 1 is complete, which is I need to add a control to so you can spin the preview character around. I have to make it so you can open and close the menu, which will also disable the player controls. As you can see, I can still walk around and jump while the menu is open, and it kind of controls both at the same time. So I need a button to switch between the game and this menu. And then I also need to make it so it will save what clothing you're wearing, because right now if you were to like choose, say, these clothes or whatever, and then you close the game, when you restart the game it'll reset everything back to empty like this. So I just need to somehow add that. But yeah, I'm really happy how well it turned out. I obviously I obviously need to make the UI look better as well, because it's just like two squares. Maybe add some separator graphics between the categories or something. But yeah, it's coming along good. So today I was able to get most of what I wanted to get done with the clothing system. I added saving and loading your current loadout. So if you press play, it will remember what clothes you are wearing. And if you go into the menu, it'll keep track of where everything was, how you left it. So it all works. And you can also open and close the menu now. Yeah, so one problem I still need to fix is, for some reason, when you go onto a vehicle, it still won't work with the clothing system. It'll break and give me an error. I'm not sure why that is, so I gotta fix that. The code itself is pretty janky. It's my first time coding a clothing system, so I might try recoding it again at some point in the future, but at least it's working for the most part. Another thing I did was, in the clothing menu, I made it so you can rotate the character preview around, and that's helpful for if you want to get that look just right. So that was a cool little addition. But yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to try and fix the problem with the vehicles, and I'm going to try and make the whole menu look a little nicer as well. This Thursday I was finishing up some stuff with the clothing system. I fixed the problem with the clothing not appearing on vehicles, so now when you go on a vehicle, it'll keep your clothing on, and when you get back off it will as well. I'm messing around with the UI, trying to merge it all together, because I have like two different UIs right now. I have like one that exists in camera space and one that exists in screen space, so I'm trying to unify them together. You can see at the top left, I made a little script to spin the crystal bit around so it looks a lot nicer with your currency. I might have to make it a bit smaller, but whatever. I made the clothing menu a little nicer to look at. Fixed up some of the UI with that. Oh, and I also figured out that for some reason all the UI was like mirrored. It was like facing away from the camera. So I flipped them around and I had to change a little bit of code to make it work again in the right direction. But yeah, everything's working fine. I guess the next step would be to make like actual good clothing assets, because you can see I still haven't fixed up the vertex weighting on the shirt, and the pants have some problems too. And then one other thing I need to do is change how the hat and the sunglasses work, because they're using the same method as the rest of the clothes, where they have an entire rig skeleton weighted to them, and it's good for like these clothing items because they deform with the mesh. But with sunglasses and hats, they're basically just being parented to the head, or they should be at least, because they won't be deforming at all since the head is just a single bone. So I'm gonna have to add a little bit extra code to the clothing system to make it work proper, or work differently with the hat and the sunglasses. Another thing with them is I need to have a special position for the hat and the face items, because some of the characters' heads are differently shaped. With all the characters, like all their bodies are the same shape, so I don't really need anything special with the body clothing, but with the head stuff, their eyes will be in different places, and the top of their head might be higher up or farther down. So I need to make some special stuff just for the hat and the sunglasses. To finish off this week, I did some cleaning up of some UI stuff, and I put the clothing script on all the vehicles. So that's all working good. I started working on a new camera script. As you can see, there's a bit of wonkiness to it. It's like far from finished. I only got like partway done. But yeah, I was feeling a bit sick today, so I decided to end off early. If we go on the skis, you can see the new menu, or new UI look. Before it was like some basic orange text. Now it has a cool outline and it's more bold. I'm thinking of making my own custom font for the game. I think that'd be pretty cool to have. But yeah, I'm feeling a bit sick today, so I decided to call it quits a bit early. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you later. Peace.